YouVersion app, Amplified Bible, Classic Edition, Luke 6. On the Sabbath, while Jesus was passing through the fields of his standing grain, it occurred that his disciples picked some spikes and ate of the grain, rubbing it out in their hands. But some of the Pharisees asked him, "Why are you doing that, what is not permitted to be done in the Sabbath days?" And Jesus replied to them, saying, "Have you never so much as read that David did when he was hungry, he and those who were with him, how he went into the house of God and took and ate the sacred loaves of the showbread, which is not permitted for any except only the priests to eat, and also gave it to those who were with him? And he said to them, the Son of Man is Lord even in the Sabbath." And it occurred on another Sabbath when he went into the synagogue and taught, and a man was present whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and Pharisees kept watching Jesus to see whether he would actually heal on the Sabbath, or in order that they might get some ground for accusations against him. But he was aware of all along their thoughts, and he said to the man with the withered hand, "Come and stand here in the midst." And he arose and stood there. Then Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful and right for the Sabbath to do good, so that someone derives advantage from it, or to do evil, to save a life and make a soul safe, and destroy it?" Then he glanced around at all of them and said to the man, "Stretch out your hand," and he did so, and his hand was fully restored like the other one. And they were filled with lack of understanding and senseless rage and disgust, consulted one another what they might do to Jesus. Now those days it occurred that he went up into a mountain to pray, and spent the whole night in prayer to God. When it was day, he summoned the disciples and selected them to them 12, and whom he named apostles, special messengers. They were Simon, whom he named Peter, and his brother Andrew, and James and John and Philip and Bartholomew, and Matthew and Thomas, and James son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor, a treacherous, baseless, faithless person. And Jesus came down with them and took his stand on a level spot, and the great crowd of his disciples and the vast throng of people were all over Judea and Jerusalem and the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, who came to listen to him and be cured of their diseases. Even those who were disturbed and troubled with unclean spirits, and they were being healed also. And all the multitude were seeking to touch him, for healing power was all going forth from him and curing them all, saving them in severe illness or calamity. And solemnly lifting up his eyes, the disciple, he said, "Blessed, happy for life and satisfaction of God's favor and salvation apart from the outward condition, and to be envied are the poor and lowly, afflicted, destitute, and wealth, influence, position, honor, and the kingdom of God is yours. Blessed, happy in life, joy, and satisfaction, God's favor and salvation apart from the outward condition, and to be envied are the who hunger and seek with eager desire now for those, and you shall be filled with completely satisfied. Blessed, happy in life, joy, and satisfaction, God's favor, salvation apart from the outward condition, and to be envied are you who weep and sob now, for you shall laugh. Blessed, happy in with life and joy, satisfaction, God's favor and salvation apart from the outward condition, and to be envied when people despise, hate you, and when you exclude and communicate you as disreputable, and revile and denounce you, and defame and cast out and spurn your name as evil, wicked on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice and be glad in such an exalt, leap, and joy. For behold, your reward is rich and great and strong and intense and abundant in heaven. For even so their forefathers treated the prophets. But woe to, alas, for you who are rich, abounding in material resources, for you already are receiving your consolation, the solace of sense strengthening and cheer and come from prosperity, and have taken and enjoyed your comfort in full, having nothing left to be afforded you. Woe to, alas, for you who are full now, completely filled, luxuriously gorged and satiated, for you shall hunger and suffer want. Woe to, alas, for you who laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep and wail. Woe to, alas, for you, and when everyone speaks fairly and handsomely of you and praise you. For even so their forefathers did the false prophets. But I say to you who are listening now to me, in order to heed and make the practice to love your enemies, treat well, do good, to act nobly toward those who detest you and pursue you with hatred. Invoke blessings upon prey and happiness of those who curse you. Implore God's blessing and favor upon those who abuse you, who revile, reproach, disparage, and handily misuse you. To those who strikes you in the jaw or cheek, offer the other jaw and cheek also. And from him who takes away your outer garment, do not withhold your undergarment as well. Give away to everyone who begs of you, who is in want of necessities of him who takes away from you your goods. Do not demand or require them back again. And as for you would like and desired the men would do to you, do exactly so to them. For you merely love those who love you. What quality and credit of thanks is that to you? For even the very sinners love the lovers, those who love them. If you are kind and good to favor and benefit those who are kind and good and do favors and benefit you, what quality of credit and thanks is that to you? For even the permanently sinful do the same. And if you lend money at interest to those from whom the hope and receive and quality of credit and thanks that to you. Even notorious sinners lend money at interest to sinners, so as to recover as much again. But love your enemies and be kind and doing favors, and someone derives benefit from them. And lend expectantly, hoping for nothing in return, but consider nothing as loss and despairing for no one. And then your recompense, your reward will be great. Rich, strong, intense, and abundant, and with your sons of the Most High. And he is kind and charitable and good to the ungrateful and selfish and wicked. So being merciful, sympathetic, tender, responsive, and compassionate, even your Father is. All these judge not, neither pronouncing judgment nor subjecting to censure, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn or pronounce guilty, and you will not be condemned or pronounced guilty. Acquit and forgive and release. Give up resentment, let it drop, and you will be acquitted and forgiven and released. Give, and gifts will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will they pour into the pouch and form by the bosom of the robe and use of the bag. For with the measure you deal out, with the measure you use when you confer benefits on others, it will measure back to you. The father told them a proverb, can a blind man guide and direct a blind man? Will they not both stumble into a ditch or a hole in the ground? A pupil is not superior to his teacher, but everyone, when he is completely trained, readjusted, restored, set rights, perfect, will be like his teacher. Why do you see the speck in your brother's eye, but do not notice to consider the beam of timber that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, brother, allow me to take out the speck of your own eye, when you yourselves do not see the beam that is in your own eye? You actor, pretender, hypocrite, first take the beam out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly and take out the speck that is in your brother's eye. For there is no good, healthy tree that bears decayed, worthless, stale fruit, nor is there other hand does a decayed, worthless, sickly tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known and identified by its own fruit, and the figs are not gathered from thorn bush, nor is cluster of grape picked in the bramble bush. The upward, honorable, intrinsic good man out of the good treasure stored in the heart produces what is upright, honorable, intrinsically good, and the evil man out of the evil storehouse bring forth what is depraved, wicked, intrinsically evil. For out of the abundance, overflow of the heart, his mouth speaks. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and you do not practice or listen to my words? For everyone who comes to me and listens to my words, in order to heed their teaching and does them, I will show them what he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug and went down deep and laid a foundation upon the rock. And when a flood rose, the torrent broke against the house and could not shake or move it, because it had been securely built or founded on a rock. But he who merely hears and does not practice doing my words is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation, against which the torrent burst. Immediately it collapsed and fell, and break and ruin of the house was great.